It was a bright July morning in 1873, moving day for the Zwemer family, the 9 younger children and their parents. Sam sighed as he looked at the giant red maple tree in the yard and wondered how he was going to get along in Albany, New York. He had been born in Breland, Michigan, but this home in Milwaukee, Wisconsin was the only one he remembered. Although the Zwemer family lived in cramped quarters, Sam loved everything about living in Milwaukee. He'd just started school, and since he could already read and write both English and Dutch, he was doing well. He had lots of friends to play with, most of them from church. Sam's father, Adrian Zwemer, was a pastor in the Dutch Reformed Church, around which much of the family's life revolved. In fact, it was hard for Sam to figure out where church ended and home life began. Members of the congregation visited the house in a continual flow, and Sam's mother, Katharina, welcomed everyone with a bright smile as she served her guests her special Dutch waffles and cups of steaming hot coffee. Every meal in the Zwemer home began with a prayer and ended with a Bible reading. This morning's passage had been about Moses leading the people of Israel to the Promised Land. "Ja," Sam's father had said in Dutch at the end of the reading. The whole family spoke Dutch at home. "God tells his people to go into all the earth to spread the gospel, and go we shall." Sam's father went on to recount the story of how he and Sam's mother had come to America as part of the early wave of Dutch immigrants who settled in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa. The Reverend Albertus Van Raalte had led the initial group to leave Holland in 1846 and settle in Michigan. The Dutch immigrants, or Hollanders, had come to the United States partly to escape a bitter clampdown on unauthorized churches in Holland, and partly because of a severe economic depression that had left young Dutch people with few choices for their future. Sam knew the story by heart, but it still thrilled him. His father seemed so old now, with his flowing beard and gold-rimmed spectacles. Sam found it hard to imagine his father as an eager young man climbing aboard a ship named the Layla in 1849, bound for the New World. Sam's mother had traveled aboard the same ship, since she was engaged to Sam's father. She was 22 years old at the time, 4 years younger than Adrian. Although she was born in Holland, her parents were from Germany. The voyage to the United States lasted 38 days. Sam often asked his father to tell him about the big storm when a giant wave spilled over the stern of the ship, dousing the fire Sam's mother was cooking rice cakes over. "The firebrands almost caused the ship fire," his father would say, "but worse was to come. That wave was the first of many enormous waves. We were soon ordered below deck, and the water leaked in profusely. We 128 Hollanders, under the leadership of Pastor Klin, spent the night praying. The water below deck rose until it washed over the lower bunks. Everyone climbed onto the top bunks. We thought the ship was sinking, and we were locked below deck. We kept praying. The next day was terrible, but God was with us. Eventually, the violent rocking stopped, and then they opened the hold and let us out. The sun was shining, and we breathed the fresh air." Sam's parents made it safely to New York City, but decided not to move all the way to Michigan with the rest of the Dutch immigrants they had traveled with. Instead, they married, settled in Rochester, New York, and quickly produced 4 babies. 2 of the babies survived early childhood and were the big children, James and Maud. James, who was now 23 years old, had just graduated from Western Theological Seminary and become a pastor, while Maud was a schoolteacher. Next came the 7 middle children. Mary, the oldest of these, was 17 years old, followed by Fred, Katharina, Christina, Adrian, Nellie, and 9-year-old Hetty. Last were the 2 little ones, Sam and his younger brother Peter. The boys were less than a year apart in age, and both had light blue eyes and dark hair.